Oh, Elizagirth's still on screen. Sorry, I was dealing with the laptop so much.
Oh.
There we go. Sorry about that. See, this is why I want to get Twitch online, so my chat can tell me when I'm being a bad host.
But, like, we could go around him and stay the same distance from him, right? Like, we don't have to plow over this man.
Yeah.
I mean, Nath could also just cast silence on him.
Nath's not here anymore.
Yeah.
I think Bricker did this just to mess with us.
Maybe
Poison
you
that dog.
planted the stuff in Destil's wife's purse
It's
like
possible.
months ago.
Man, I'm playing the long game, I guess.
Clearly.
Nodal and I did spend the night at his house, and we did rummage through her purse. It was fun. We bonded
Listen,
over it.
that was educational.
We stole so much stuff.
I
got,
stole
like-
the wedding certificate.
I got, like, towels and CDs and stuff.
It's really weird because they're all monogrammed, but it's like staying at a hotel.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Your
what
goal
should
is
we
to
do?
try to approach the ravine, but pass this man up, so he's a ways away from you.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going forward past him, or are you going to turn around and go back the other way a ways?
Well, neither of those things. Like,
Let's just go left.
yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by left.
So, like, if he's here and we're here, we'll just go like this.
That's away from the ravine.
Right.
But
No,
once
but
once we pass him by far enough, we can just go towards the
Yeah.
ravine.
So you're going to turn around and go away from the ravine in like a catty corner direction, so you can circle back to it where he won't see you. Is that the plan?
Sure.
Yeah.
You just roll double ones. Is that good or bad?
You see two guys with two horns.
Coming back up on the ravine from another angle and approaching the ship, the cliff, the side of the cliff, leaning down into it. It's not like Minecraft. You can't look down there and see like diamonds and a lava river.
Darn.
You don't accidentally fall into it and die.
Forgot to take my finger off the tab button. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Well, how close do you get to the cliff with the cart? We'll start there.
Let's leave it, let's say, 20 yards away.
So Mahogany, Riot suggests leaving it 20 yards away.
Yeah, and Mahogany just kind of drives it up close to where they are, and then just stops it up.
Okay.
I don't know that it's 20 yards away because Mahogany doesn't do distances like that.
Right.
But
Measure nuns park once.
exactly.
Yep.
And then what's next?
I don't know. Why are we here? Like,
Your
Did we-
destination's on the other side of this ravine.
yeah,
We've
but
got to
I'm
cross the
saying,
ravine.
like, why did we stop at this one particular point of the ravine? Is what I'm asking.
Because
It's-
unless you know a bridge,
Okay. Oh, so we're just like riding now alongside the ravine.
yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense to me. I was trying to figure out why we had stopped here.
So what we'll do?
What
Way
we'll do
too
is we'll
wide.
get Nath to use any of the wizard spells and make a bridge.
Way too wide for anybody to jump across or anything like that.
See, he summons a Tenseer's floating disc, but you have to get a wolf, a sheep, and a bag of corn across.
He says, "Don't worry, I'll solve the puzzle." I love these.
So what's
Right.
next?
The,
You guys
the
have parked
ravine's too wide to jump across. I'm assuming.
considerably too wide. I mean, it maybe on a great day for liberation with the wind at his back, but it looks pretty much too far to jump.
Mahogany cast jump on liberation.
Okay, liberation, you now have the effects of jump.
You can jump 3 times as far as you normally would.
Okay. So I take a thing of rope across. Take a rope across and. try to cobble together some kind of makeshift bridge? Is that where we're
Go for it.
Also, alternately, I have a couple of casts of Dimension Door.
That could do it.
Mahogany says, yeah, but just jump across just for once for me.
Kron says he doesn't see the problem. Why don't you just use the bridge?
What bridge?
And he points to an empty spot in the ravine where there is very clearly not a bridge.
Kron, honey, if you try and cross that bridge, it's going to end up like when you tried to eat that food.
He says that those two things have nothing to do with each other. He does point out, however, it is an invisible bridge, so it only works if you're invisible.
Alright.
Are you invisible?
Let me get a running start.
And he looks down at his arms and hands for a second, then says, shit.
Get a running start and vault with Mahogany's jump spell.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
Don't fall in.
I hope y'all got some belief points saved up.
If he falls in, he can just run up the other side.
No, maybe.
Yeah, unless... Wait, why did I roll that advantage? I didn't need to roll that
I don't know.
advantage. I'm dumb. I'm the dumbest.
Well,
That's a 13.
That's fine.
So two things happen in quick succession.
Mm-hmm.
One, liberation. As you get a running start and jump over this ravine, looking down in the ravine, you see thousands of Tanari soldiers. Most of them are lesser Tanari. Things like like quasits and things. But there are no small amount of the greater ones either. And then perched at a lot of places along both sides of the cliff, you see Vrox. They're the big flying vulture ones. The second thing that happens is after you land on the other side and tuck and roll, is a shower of black shafted arrows comes launching up out of the ravine directly at you.
Ooh!
Oh no, it's Liberation's one weakness.
Oh no!
$18 points of piercing damage.
Can I reaction to drop that damage down?
Sure.
Alright. Just verify something real quick. Sorry.
Dude, just do cool monk shit. We're all waiting.
I'm doing cool monk shit. I knocked that down by more than 18. Catch the arrow, or yeah, block. I'm not even trying to throw back or anything because they're all coming out from the ravine, right?
They're coming up from somewhere inside the ravine. Yes.
Yep. Block. No damage.
Okay.
And then, the spell lasts for a minute.
Jump?
The jump spell lasts for a minute, so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna jump back across.
Wait, jump across again?
Yeah, jump back across.
why?
Because
You saw
Why
tons
not?
and tons of arrows.
Yeah.
Why?
Everybody.
he wants arrows.
Roll initiative. Don't worry, I'm rolling for Kuran.
Nice.
This is so stupid.
Whatever, man. I cast a jump spell and I love it.
See, see what
Jump
was
spell
happening?
is so bad.
what's going to happen in my head is I'm just Liberation jumps back across and says that's not going to work. after getting pelted with arrows,
We could see
Riot.
that from the side. 12.
12.
We got that already. Didn't we?
Liberation.
4.
Oh, that's not good. And Mahogany.
20.
Karan slaps Mahogany and Riot on the back, very approvingly. And he says, "We shall make fine slaves before they devour us." Mahogany, it looks like Liberation's going to turn around and jump back across the ravine. And, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like to do that, he's going to have to run past 20 or 30 arrow shafts that are poked down in the ground that missed him. And you have the initiative. It's on you.
I don't know what you want me to do about that. That's not on me. Mahogany. Casts. Fuck it.
Moonbeam's not an option. There's no moon.
I don't even see anything to fight. So,
Get wild shape.
yeah, but the thing is, there's nothing flying. This would have been a good instance to have created something that was a beast. That was. I should have done this stat block work before now.
I'm trying to remember. Is there a reason you can't be an elemental, or is it like
Yes, there was a specific reason I could not be an elemental.
Okay.
I was told the elemental wild shape wouldn't work on the abyss.
Gotcha.
Unless the clarification recorded that elemental stuff would work on this layer means that elemental wild shape would work on this layer.
It's possible because the plane of infinite portals doesn't have abyssal lords or gods or anything over it, but that's as much as you get out of me without trying it.
Okay. Yeah, what the fuck? I'll try it.
Okay, what kind of elemental?
Wind.
Okay. Riot.
Mhm.
I need you and Karan to both make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Seems fair.
He failed his badly. He rolled a 1.
Oh, well. I rolled way better than that. 19.
Usually when you turn into an air elemental, you feel formless. There's no matter. You don't have skin or bones or a body or anything.
Yeah.
It feels very wrong when you Excuse me, I'm burpy because I just ate some soup. When you transform today, and you realize that you're made up of some kind of particulate, and you realize that it's choking ash and smoke. And
Alright.
you don't have full control over your positioning, and tendrils that make up your body are starting to swirl around, and Karan and Riot both begin to cough in your vicinity. Karan doubles over in pain.
Hell
It's
yeah.
still your turn.
And I'm gonna fly over and see if I can see where the arrows came from.
When you say fly over, do you mean fly all the way over the ravine or fly like halfway between?
Well, I'm in the air, so like if I could probably see it like close to the edge.
Okay. It wasn't my intention to use this as a battle map, but I guess it'll kind of work for just general positioning. If you fly up in the air and look down into the edge, I mean, you wouldn't even have to be in the air. You just have to be at the edge and look in. But yeah, you see this massive Tenari army formed up in the bottom of the ravine, and that stretches out in both directions. More pressingly, you see that they have what looks like maybe scouts or lookouts perched on little rocky outcrags on both sides of the ravine. Most of these are Vroks. Those are the vulture guys. A few of them are Nalfeshnis. Those are the guys with the big boar tusks. But both of these kinds of Tenari can fly. And on your side of the ravine, you see basically a firing line. mostly of humanoids of some kind, mercenary groups, a lot of tieflings and humans, pulling black shafted arrows out of quivers to reload. And there are several Vroks and Nalfeshnis flying up towards the top of the ravine to where you know where Liberation is on the other side.
Okay, I'm gonna fly over to Liberation.
Okay.
And I'm gonna turn towards Riot and just kind of like make a beckoning motion with my horrible tendril hand.
Make a...
You don't have to tell Riot to come over. She's got it.
Yeah.
Alright, don't make any check. I'm just gonna let that one go.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to...
How close do you get to Liberation, though, I should ask?
Well, I mean, I don't want to choke him to death.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to stay there and use my action. I'm going to ready an action.
Okay.
That if something flies into attack, I'm going to hit it first. Basically, like on the battle map, I'm in between Liberation and the cliff.
Okay. Several demons break the plane of the ravine, coming up out of it. 3 Vroks and 2 Nalfeshnis. And they see the groups of you standing on either side. Riot and Karan on one side, Liberation, and this choking smoke on the other. And they kind of put their backs to each other so they can face both sides at once. And then one of the Nalfeshni lifts his fingers, pointing at Riot. And Karan calls out, "Good choice!" And they begin moving in that direction. Riot's...
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I guess he called out...
Yeah.
Fuck, that was horrible. Alright. I need you to make, and Karan, he's going to fail his because he's terrible, I'm sure, a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular I need to know about my stat block, Brickred?
Until further notice, just use the air elemental stat block.
Okay.
And I'll blindside you with the fun stuff as we go.
Sounds good.
I failed that. That's an 8.
An 8. 2 of the Vroks fly forwards and lift up their arms ahead of them just before they touch down on the side of the ravines. And you feel yourself, and you see this happen in Karan too. You're held in place, paralyzed.
Cool.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
As the other Vroks land and start... I'm sorry, the other Vrok, there's only 3 of them, lands and starts coming forward menacingly with his spear.
Real messed up that the Vroks are acting on a demon's turn rather than a flying demon.
They're kind of all flying demons, but...
Yeah.
Riot, all you can really do is make another wisdom saving throw at the end of your turn, which is now.
Yeah. Let me look at paralysis.
Oh, I have my handy cheat sheet here.
Yeah,
I call it
wish I had mine.
conditions.txt in all caps.
I ought to have something like that.
Yeah, you're incapacitated, which means you can't take any actions.
Okay.
You can't move or speak. You fail strength and dex saves, and everybody can attack you with advantage.
Yeah. Seemed like a... Yeah, I'll just make that that wisdom save throw again.
Okay.
It's even worse. It's a 4.
Now the 2 Nalfeshnis land on this side. One of them steps forward with the Vroks towards Riot and Karan. The other one turns across the ravine and faces Liberation. What is Liberation like armed with and dressed with? Like, what's on his person at the moment?
Well, I can actually link the character art that I have in the Twitch chat. But as far as what he's armed with, all he's got is a bandolier of darts. No weapons in hand.
Boots, gloves.
Yeah, and yep, boots and gloves.
Is he wearing his monocle? Is he wearing the monocle, or did you not?
Yeah, he's wearing the monocle.
The creatures call out. Boots, the bandolier, the glass eye. Throw it in the hole, and they'll die quickly. So, just to clarify, Liberation, your turn is now.
Mm-hmm.
All of these demons will get another turn before you do, and all of them are at a distance where they can close in and strike your allies on the other side of the ravine. And it's your turn right now.
Okay, so I got the jump spell up.
Yeah?
Yep. You've got it for the duration of this battle.
Yep. So I'm
And
thinking...
it's not concentration, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do is I'm going to jump back across.
Okay.
Decidedly not doing what I'm told.
Okay.
Double movement to interpose myself between Riot, Quran, and the Vrox.
So you want to circle around and get... So they have to move through you to get to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And key point to dodge.
And key point dodge. Do you say or do anything else? Because you're openly defying this this boar demon.
Yeah. No. I think my intentions are pretty clear what I'm doing.
Quran gets to make his save again. But he's rolling like Kelian, so it's not happening for him.
It's okay. We needed a Kelian this
Quran's the most impressive factal, I think.
Yep.
Mahogany. Let's call it just Mahogany for now. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Alright. $15.
15. Okay. Take 20 points of piercing damage, which you can cut in half for making the save, and then you can probably cut it in half again, because I'm sure you're resistant to piercing damage at the moment.
I am.
As another hail of arrows comes flying out of the ravine, and many of them puncture through your smoky form. And now it's your turn.
Yeah. I'm going to go deal with the thing that is preventing Riot from doing what I tell her to. And then go attack the person who paralyzed Riot.
Okay. So one of the Vrox?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
That's a 15 and a 27.
Both of those hit. Man, you got a 27? There's only 20 sides on the die?
I know, man, but it turns out Ash Elementals do pretty decent.
Just give me the grand total damage.
Will do. Do you need the type?
It's
Tell you
blood,
anyway.
bludgeoning,
Wow, that's a
isn't it?
good roll.
It's a good roll.
Ass roll. It's 39 bludgeoning damage.
Wow.
That's all you got?
That's impressive.
There's no crits on those dice, man.
That's a hard save to make.
So 37?
39.
39?
9.
Yeah.
Got to get out calc.exe.
He's got to make a DC 19 saving throw.
Yes, he does. Which he fails.
Whew.
So the whole person on Riot drops. Very notably, though, this creature does not seem to be affected by the choking shape. And as you're beating on this thing, Liberation and Riot, from where you're at, where you notice Mahogany is a little farther away from you, but you notice some of his smoky tendrils moving in your direction, unbeknownst to him. It's going to bring us to the Vrox.
Oh, man.
2 of them are going to attack Liberation. I feel like I use these guys a lot. Am I,
Vrox? No, they're badass.
I know, but do I just have like a
Vrox come up a lot, yeah.
unconscious bias towards Vrox? They're just such a cool monster.
You like them dropping us off of things, which is going to be very difficult to do to Mahogany.
At disadvantage.
We're not attacking you just yet.
Oh. The Vrock considers his options.
His options.
Did you say options?
Oh my god, Nick. Normally, that's the kind of thing I would expect Nodal to make. I'd expect...
Nick, you're fired. We're replacing you with a small robot dog that can bark the alphabet.
Arf! Arf! Arf!
That's not the alphabet!
Arf! Arf! Arf!
Riot and Karan, who fails automatically, and Liberation. I need a dexterity saving throw.
I'm good at those. 9 plus
26.
17.
Okay. Karan automatically fails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice. $22 points of fire damage, which you both can cut in half because you saved. Karan did not save. He took the whole 22. The Vrock standing nearest to Mahogany explodes a fireball, point blank on the 3 of you, before the other 2 close in and start cutting Liberation to ribbons.
Evasion drops it down to 0 for making that fireball save.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
Oh, that crit's not going to hit you now. That's too bad.
No.
Assuming the 8's not going to hit.
No, it is not.
Okay. $17 points of slashing damage, Liberation, from the first Vrock that closes.
Okay.
And the last Vrock misses entirely. So what happened was the one standing next to Mahogany threw a fireball at you. The other 2, one of which is still maintaining hold person on Karan, closed in on Liberation and start to try to tear him to shreds.
Okay.
Also at this point, you see some number of other flying Tanari creatures and some flying mercenaries that they've hired, including several humanoids who just have magical means of flight, are starting to perch on the other side of the ravine to watch how this unfolds. Who has a passive perception of 15
Right.
or better?
Right.
Mahogany also.
Sorry, I don't have my passive perception cheat sheet open right now. I lost some time.
Right. It's 20.
I don't have that.
Okay. Those of you who have 15 or higher and are not currently paralyzed can see some number of these mercenaries on their side. Not many, fewer than 10 probably out of the group, are knocking arrows.
Okay.
Right, you get a turn.
Is Karan still alive?
He is, but he's in bad shape because he's paralyzed and he's been fireballed.
Okay.
He's not talking, which is probably bad news.
Yeah. Let's touch Karan and then leave.
And go
So
where?
we go 500 feet this way.
So all the way across the ravine behind the other firing line?
Right.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try and pick up Karan and use my move action to move 30 feet more.
Okay, yeah, you continue to drag him 30 feet.
And I don't know if Mahogany can see me, but I make the same beckoning gesture.
You can't. You don't have smoke tendrils.
Yeah.
My perception's not 22. I can't.
The first Nalfeshni, the one that barked an order to liberation, when he sees Riot vanish, he spins around, looking across the ravine. And then he yells out, "They're behind you, you fools! Run them down!" The other one, Liberation and Mahogany, you guys both notice, kind of curiously, doesn't do anything. He's still standing at the edge of the ravine on your side, but he doesn't make a move towards anyone. That brings us back to Liberation.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is going to be great. I'm going to disengage.
Okay.
Move action. Using the jump spell. Vault back across over the line of archers. And key point dodge. Actually, yeah, key point dodge.
A dodge over here?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you land on the other side, a very large number of these soldiers turn towards you, and some of them have very hungry looks in their eyes. Let's let Karan
Liberation grins.
Karan fails his save again. Mahogany, what's good with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna disengage,
Okay.
and then I'm going to peace out. Like, very, very quickly peace out.
What is the plan from this point? Just try to continue putting distance between you and the demons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think all of us, except for Riot, are faster than them.
And Riot's got a couple more casts of Dimension Doors. So
How-
she can get herself and Karan out of there.
How many of those are you willing to use in this endeavor? Like, if it looks like they're going to catch up, you'll use another one?
Oh, I was thinking of using like 2 more right away. 500 feet more, 500 feet more, and then I think I'm done using spells for the moment.
Okay. And then that's 1,500 feet you moved. How many rounds would it take Liberation to close that distance?
Going full tilt, burning key points in the while, 10 rounds.
Okay.
And I could get there in 8.
Liberation, take a level of exhaustion.
Sounds about right, and I'm guessing burn 10 key points.
Yeah, burn them up.
Yeah!
It's at that
So the
point,
first time this has happened.
as you guys reconvene some 1,500 feet away from the ravine, that you realize that the creatures have given up the chase. There doesn't seem to be anybody coming after you at this point. Riot, you hear Karan kind of gurgle something as though he's trying desperately to speak.
Oh, right. That's the other thing I need spell slots for. And I'll cast Aura Vitality.
Okay. And you see the burn marks and things heal on his body.
Mhm.
But he continues to not move, and he continues to just kind of gurgle with his, make these throaty, wet noises with his mouth.
Oh, if I still had key points left, I'd be able to dispel that.
Can I... I'm going to make another insight check to see if, like, if he's
Full of
really
shit.
unable to talk, or if this is just another dumb act he's putting on. Is there any, like, weird way you want to make this insight check?
Well, just roll a dice.
I know, but, like, normally it's wisdom. Do you want me to do insight strength or something?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, instead of insight, make it a intelligence medicine check.
Okay.
Because you're trying to determine whether or not he's got something wrong with him or if he's faking it.
Okay.
That's what you get.
Why did I roll twice? I could just use that same result. I should have used the same result. This turns into a 12.
Having just been paralyzed yourself a moment ago, he wouldn't be able to make noises if he was paralyzed.
Okay. All right, and here we
He
are.
says out loud in Orin, I'm not carrying him.
How much distance do you keep from your friends, Mahogany?
Probably about 15 feet.
Okay. And no matter how far away you try to stay, you guys keep noticing Mahogany smoke tendrils reaching out subconsciously in your direction.
Mahogany, you're drifting.
Yeah. And every time he gets pointed out, he'll move a little bit.
Okay. What do you do with Karan?
Poke him with the toe of my boot and say, "You're fine. Get up."
And he feigns pain when you kick him in the side. And stands up, brushes himself off. And he looks at Liberation very sourly.
Clap him on the shoulder and say, "Still got a long way to go, guy."
I don't believe you know how to make hummus.
Nope, sure don't.
And he looks disgusted with you.
It's an even longer way without our beetles now.
Yep.
Are we keeping up the same kind of pace? 3 times a day stopping and putting up the tiny hut?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to be in bad shape the next time we run across somebody here.
What are you guys doing for provisions, food and water?
I have some stuff on me. I have some rations on me.
I'll make, of course, my customary. Is this plane terrible for good berry check? Is this bad berry?
Bad berry.
How are you doing this? Just by making one and eating it?
By making one and giving it to Karan.
And giving it to Karan?
Well, that's fair, because I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, and neither would Elsie Clone.
Yeah, that's true.
Neither would Liberation.
After he eats this good berry, you see his movements slow somewhat. And his eyes get very dilated. And he immediately asks for a second.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'll give it to him.
And he gobbles that one down as well. And then he immediately asks for a third.
Mahogany looks at him, and he eats one.
So you're back in Genasi form at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, boy. This is good, Barry, is what it is.
That's a 16.
It seems like the good berries that you've created have pretty severe hallucinogenic properties. Karan is very clearly tripping balls at this point. And after a few moments, Mahogany, you start to feel it. Your belly is full. You become satiated, just like you're used to with the good berries. But you spend the next couple of hours, you can't focus on anything. You see things that aren't there. They're not terrible or nightmarish things. You did make the save. But you would not be an effective combatant in this state. Mechanically, you're under the effects of hypnotic pattern.
I had Riot and Liberation a good berry.
Riot pockets hers. Thanks you for it.
Liberation does the same.
Okay.
And I say, just keep it away from the horse.
What's a horse?
The horse looks at you very sourly.
So, Riot, which direction? We keep going this way?
This direction, she points.
Here's the issue with that, though, Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Directions are just a concept, so how could we ever go to any of them?
Karan says, "How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?" Is there ever a point where all 4 of you partake of the good berry at the same time?
No.
No. Riot is sticking to her own created food and water.
Okay. And it's absolutely disgusting to try to eat. It's unpalatable. You have to really kind of mentally fight it to keep it down occasionally. This plane is having a very bad effect on your Riot brand FUD with an umlaut.
Right.
And what's Liberation eating?
I do have some rations on me. I have quite a few, actually.
Okay, we'll go ahead and mark off 7 of them for 7 full days travel. You don't have any other major issues with Tanari after leaving the war party behind?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you arrive at the ruins that Riot, you know, the portal to Duke Grant Darius' lands are in.
Yeah. All right.
And holding the map,
mm-hmm.
you start to see the features on it drain away. They start to lose their, like the ink is fading away off the paper. And it's flowing back into your finger as you hold the map. And eventually you're holding a blank map, but you get your hit points back.
Oh, interesting.
To open this
And
portal,
also
you
weird.
need but hold your hand to the archway, and it will open.
Okay. Mahogany, you're up.
All right, and Mahogany will carefully reach into his pack and take out the a horrible shroom.
And Karan, who is tripping balls at the moment because he ate 4 good berries for breakfast, looks over and says, "Is that the fabled Agarus fungus?"
Yeah.
Mahogany takes 3 steps away from Karan.
And he takes 3 steps towards you. Can I see it? He holds out his hands.
Riot,
No, you can't.
Riot, I need you to occupy him.
Yeah, Riot, like, grabs Karan by the shoulder and, like, leaves him away.
And he tells you don't know how to make hummus either.
And then
And
Mahogany,
Riot's team takes offense at this and is like, "What? Well, wait till you see what I make back on Sigil. It's good hummus back on Sigil. It's the plane. It's not my fault."
Mahogany casts a spell.
Okay. And for a moment, all of you...
What slot is this?
Oh, this is it's the same spell slot as watery breathing. I
Okay,
think it's 5th. I'd have to
Alright.
double check.
it's fine. I've got
I
it.
remember it. I remember it being good.
For a moment, you guys all feel like you're dying. You feel like your lungs have collapsed in on themselves. The sensation of not having to breathe is extremely unsettling for a minute.
This is fucked.
It's 3rd.
It's 3rd? Okay, yeah.
Oh wow, that's low.
Yeah, I made it the same level as water breathing. It just uses a much more dangerous component.
Did you
Yeah.
put that on? Did you put that on Karan as well?
Yeah.
God, what a trick that would be. All right, Karan, this way. Come right through this portal. Oh, sorry, did we forget? Bye.
I'm the factal of the Chaosman now.
No, he
No, I
made that
think
other guy
that-
the factal.
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
guy's back.
He does not
yeah.
take his eyes off of the glass orb holding the fungus until you put it away.
Yeah. Really hoping he forgets pretty quickly.
And then Riot puts her hand up to the portal.
Okay, and it opens up to a much, much deeper layer of the abyss.
Let's go.
There's
Let's
a
go.
story behind this next image that I found.
Oh boy.
The story.
The story is some asshole on, I don't know, Pinterest or something thought they could keep me from downloading the image
Oh.
using
Yeah,
using
Pinterest.
like just using browser wizardry. So I had to actually screenshot it and put it together in Photoshop.
Pinterest is fucked, yeah.
Nobody can stop me. But I
Row,
love
row, fight
this
the power.
image for
This is a really good image.
the undead layer of...
Dude, yes.
There's just a sad boy on the left. Look at him.
Aww.
He's got
Well,
the sad
you'd be
voice.
sad too if you were on the Abyss.
This isn't an exact
am on the Abyss,
representation.
and I'm pretty sad about it.
This isn't an exact representation of the layer you find yourself on, because notably you see a lot of clouds and atmosphere, and there is none on the layer. But you end up on... You step out of an archway leading onto what looks like a very well-maintained road. The landscape on either side, both on your opposite the archway that you came through, plus through the archway on the other side of the road, looks desolate, very black and very marshy, wetlands almost. But the vegetation you see looks extremely disturbing. You're used to seeing vegetation with greenish colors to it that is accustomed to water and air. This vegetation looks bloated. They look like fat leeches growing up out of the ground. Purple and pink, and in some cases oozing. Even the soil in this place, when you look directly at it, it doesn't look like anything. But in your peripheral vision, when you're not focusing on it, you can swear there's things moving and crawling through it. The actual road that you're standing on is very well made and maintained. Very solid brick paths leading in both directions. Gray stones, and then on either side of the road is a 1.5 foot high wall spanning the directions, or spanning either side of the road in both directions. You're not sure how often, but every so often you see more stone archways leading off of the road. And it is absolutely silent. And as you step out onto the road, the only other feature is a zombie standing there, again with a note folded up and pinned to its chest.
Grab the note, take a look at it.
And you look at the note, and in kind of fancy handwriting, it says, "Stay on the road."
Don't have to tell me twice. Christian
Um,
crumples up the note, stuffs it in his pocket.
if y'all guys got a couple minutes, or I guess 10 minutes, I feel like it'd be good to cast Riot's telepathic bond on us, so that we don't disturb the silence here.
Well, you can't disturb the silence. There's no medium for your speech to move through. When you attempt to speak, you don't hear anything.
So Liberation crumples up and miles the words, "Well," and
Yeah.
don't have to tell me twice. And then he looks at himself, like, looks down at in la 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 la. Like you hear him touch his throat, and he like literally goes la 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 la, but nothing comes out. He's just like, "Huh."
Yeah. Am I able to cast a spell?
Well, while you're casting this, like when you, yeah, that's the question. Does it have verbal components?
It does.
It's raries, right? Yeah, there it is. I always have to look this spell up twice.
Rories.
Riots.
That's not how it is in my app.
Well, you need to update your app.
This was your other bard spell that you took, right? Your like special bard spell?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you cast it,
Mhm.
It requires verbal components, but it's not that you're unable to speak, it's that other people are unable to hear you, essentially.
Yeah.
But before you cast it, you are aware it's a divination spell.
That's true. I think the reason I'm casting it is not so that we can hide our conversation and our party talk from anybody, because
Yes.
I know already that Dukran Stairs is going to be able to hear whatever we say over the pond.
Okay.
But I want us to be able to talk to each other,
Okay.
and so the telepathic bond is just a means to do that.
So here's how the spell functions. You cast the telepathic bond, and what's the first thing you say over it?
I'll just say, is this working? Can y'all hear me?
Mahogany and Liberation, what you hear in Riot's like psychic voice over the telepathic bond is, "You're both going to die horribly here. I'll see to it if the plane doesn't."
Liberation cocks his head for a minute, then goes into his pack, starts rooting around in it, and then looks really disappointed because it's not on the character sheet. No, it is. Pulls out a slate and some chalk and starts scribbling on it. Says, "I don't think that's what you meant to say."
And I'll read the message and think, what did I say?
I'll say,
And what you
"I'm
hear
going to
instead
kill you."
is, "Mahogany can't hear us. Let's take him out first." Which Mahogany totally hears. Karan nods in agreement.
Liberation scribbles on the thing that you just said, "Mahogany can't hear us. We should take him out first."
And Riot, because okay.
Liberation grins, taps the side of his head.
Yeah, and Riot shakes her head, just like jerks her head back toward the path. Like, let's go.
Liberation nods, holds the slate and chalk in his hand for the time being.
Okay. No breath lasts for 8 hours.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to keep it refreshed.
Does it last shorter than water breathing?
It does, actually.
That's a shame.
Let me actually pull up my... I thought it was right at the top of my Abyss notes.
Water breathing.
It was not.
Well, no, it's okay. 8 hours. Yeah. Well, you did say it was shorter than water breathing, but water breathing lasts 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it wasn't, because I decided that the component was enough of a... Oh, no, it works on fewer people, I think, was what it was. Because water breathing is like up to 8, I think, whereas no breath was only up to 4.
I think it was up to 5, because otherwise
To 5?
we'd be screwed.
Well, yeah, but you have 2 people who can cast it.
Wait, who?
Well, you don't at the moment, but usually you'd also have Nath.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, yeah, Nath can cast it. All right.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I did, because of the component. No, it'll last the full 24. I had 2
So we're
versions of this spell before I settled on one, and now I'm confusing myself.
We're good per day.
Okay. You start seeing horrible, horrible things on either side of the path. The road winds through many different types of terrain, much more quickly than it feels like you're physically walking. The area where you entered the road looked like a diseased marshland. After a few moments of walking, you're walking through a silvery, moonlit expanse of desert. A few moments later, the road turns into a bridge spanning several hundred feet over a river of black bile far beneath you. Occasionally, you see villages, structures, houses, and fields and things off to the side. And these places are always terrible to behold. You hear shrieks of pain, cries for help. And you realize there's no way you can be hearing it. There's nothing here that sound can travel through. And the places are putting them directly into your mind. It's extremely unsettling. So who steps off the path first?
1, 2, 3, not it. Liberation touches his nose.
I mean, if we're being honest, it's probably Karan.
Yeah.
Karan seems very unsettled by this whole situation. And he continues to... I mean, he kind of rotates through the 3 of you, but kind of latched onto your arm or walking directly behind you, trying to hide behind your form. He is very unsettled by all of this.
The more I see Karan unsettled by this, like, the more Riot is going to try to put up, like, a blasé nonchalance front about it all.
Now, is this a deception on Riot's part? Is she actually not unnerved by any of this?
No, he's pretty unnerved, so I said this is a deception.
Okay, go ahead and make the charisma deception roll.
Okay.
Oh!
That's a 32.
There's only 20 sides on the dice.
There's at least 30.
Eventually, you all are joined on the road. The creature doesn't walk on the road. To your eyes, at first, it looks like another zombie, but this one is a zombie barrier. Some kind of undead entity, but it's wearing a black hood over its face, like an executioner's hood. And for a while, it just trots alongside the road on the other side of this short, squat stone wall, keeping pace with you.
Scribble on the slate. Say, "Hello?" Question mark. Hold it out toward him.
And even though he's got a thing covering his eyes and can't see it?
Rude.
Liberation shrugs. Tucks it back under his arm.
Okay. After
Don't attack
how
unless
long are
it's
you
on
guys
fire.
going to travel? Again, there's no way to tell day and night here. It's eternally night. It's never. There's not even really. I mean, I say it's moonlit. It's at about that light level, but looking in the sky, there's not actually a moon or any points of light. But it's about that dim level of kind of just an ambient illumination throughout the place.
Look for a wide spot on the road, maybe, or
The road never gets any wider or narrower, but it's wide enough to basically accommodate your hut, probably. But is that still the plan, to put up the hut?
Yeah, because like Riot doesn't have that sense anymore. Where she's supposed to go?
No.
Yeah.
And Liberation's holding the note that said, "Don't leave the road." Correct?
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let's put up the hut.
You start getting tired for the day. You put up the hut, and as you begin the ritual, the barrier stops, turns and stands stock still, reaches up with its hands, and just rolls the hood slightly up over its face, just beneath where its nose would be. And it just has this horrible grin across its face. You can see where the thing's lips have been carved away, exposing the muscle and skull underneath. And he stands there with this hideous grin staring at you the entire time.
Liberation pulls out his slate again, which still has the word "hello" question mark written on it.
And it does not get a response from this barrier.
Liberation shrugs. Well, it's gonna be unnerving, but I guess that guy's gonna be staring at us all night.
Yeah, just try to roll over and not think about it.
Have to have this conversation passing the slate between the two of us.
Yeah.
Other than that, you managed to erect the hut without a hitch.
Mahogany takes the slate and writes, "Ha ha ha."
Liberation.
You're double fired.
I guess we should. Again, scribbling on the slate. I guess we should probably stand a watch.
Do you trust Quran to stand a watch?
Not especially.
So it's just Liberation and Mahogany taking each half the night?
Right.
I mean, Riot will take one if it means Quran's not taking one.
That is
Yeah.
extremely out of character for Riot.
It is.
I'm going to
It
talk
is.
all the experience. If there's one thing that's been consistent this entire campaign, it's that Riot doesn't take watch. So Riot's taking 1/3?
Yeah, we're down 2 players. We're desperate here.
Yeah, we're kind of desperate here.
We lost someone in the middle of the abyss. Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, can I just say Nath takes that watch?
No.
Okay.
Whoever's the least scared, roll a d6.
Ooh, that'll be me.
Riot, you're 1 and 2. Liberation is 3 and 4. Nodal is 5 and 6.
That's Nodal.
I'm 5 and 6. Let's do it.
Mahogany, partway through your watch, this barrier, who's been standing there the entire night, reaches forward with his arms and puts his arms down on this little squat wall. And where his hands touch, you see cracks form in the stone. And he effortlessly lifts it up and sets it next to him. And then he starts continuing this with the bricks forming the stone wall, one at a time, piece by piece, dismantling it and piling it neatly on the ground next to him.
Mahogany walks up to the wall, touches the ground, and casts Shapestone, and makes another wall. And then goes back and takes his rest.
Well, you've already taken your rest. You had the last watch.
Not rest. Goes back and sits down and takes his watch.
It's stone shape, not shape stone.
Yeah, my mistake.
Okay, so you do this with. Now, to lay your hands on any of the stones that he's removed, you'd have to leave the hut because he's on the other
No,
side.
the road on my side. I'm not
Okay.
putting his rocks back. I'm making a new stone wall.
I got you.
I think it just means you'd have to do this outside the hut because the area you're trying to.
Oh,
focus
it's
on-
definitely outside the hut. It's just I'm
Yeah.
on the road.
So
Yeah.
here's what happens instead of the thing you wanted.
Okay.
Is you attempt to shape the stone of one of the bricks in the road. And it
Yeah.
does come loose from the road, and it does shape. But you find yourself unable to shape it in the form you want. Instead, it wraps around your hand, your fingers, and constricts. Go ahead and take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And by the
Okay.
time the spell is done, you have this horrible, extremely heavy stone glove that's forcing all of your fingers in this tight, balled fists with this stone wrapped around it.
Okay.
And the barrier stops with the wall. Stops moving. He's removed 4 or 5 bricks out of it, and he turns his head towards you and continues grinning.
Well, I mean, that's basically all he could do.
So just functionally, you've lost use of... I mean, you pick one of your hands, left or right.
Yeah, well, except... I'll grin back at him, and let's take this... Let's see how bad this can go, because I don't think this was on the list of schools that you said went bad. And I'll cast Meld into Stone and remove my hand from the stone.
Oh no.
Casting as a ritual, so it takes 10 minutes.
No, it's not a ritual.
It is, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Meld into Stone?
Yeah. The stone part on your hand's not big, not large enough to fully contain your body, though.
I'm just trying to, like, take my hand out of the stone.
Okay. So here's what happens, is... Because I don't think the spell works the way you want to use it, but I want this to happen anyway because it sounds so good to me. Because all you're trying to do is kind of like make the stone part of your hand.
Basically what I'm trying to do is, like, just go, like, and then, like, as if I... Basically melting into stone in reverse. Like, taking my hand out of stone.
Okay.
Meld out of stone?
Meld out of stone.
Let's see.
And if it works properly, I want to then put that fist-sized rock onto the wall. 'Cause fuck this barrier.
So the stone you're trying to meld into is the one on your hand, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's then the spell won't function in that case because it's not big enough to fully contain your body. It's just big enough to wrap around your hand. But you could use meld. You could attempt, I'll say, to use meld into stone to like meld into the brickwork you're standing on or into the wall. Would each be okay?
And then you could dispel it to leave, I guess?
Well, then I could just walk out. Like, the rock would just fall onto the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for that. I'll go into the road I'm standing on.
Okay. Make a charisma saving throw.
Yeah, you got it. I'd love to.
Would you?
In the
I'm
series,
taking fucking Hardy next.
in the great history of bad decisions,
I'm trying to remember now what save Destil kept missing in the previous. It must have been Wisdom because he was a.
Yeah, fuck off. 15.
You meld into the stone work at your feet. And 2 things happen very swiftly that make you... I mean, I'll let you determine how you respond emotionally, but definitely it's not a good thing that happens. First of all, your hand doesn't come with you. As you kind of melt down into the brick, it gets stuck there with the stone around it. Second, you begin being torn backwards away from the hut very quickly, as though you stepped into a very fast current.
Alright, let's get out of this. Let's get back onto the road.
That's what your save was for. So you very quickly get back up out in the road. And you did it quickly enough that you were only moved 30 or 40 feet away from the hut. But what was so alarming about the situation is you felt yourself like losing your mind to the stone. Like your personality was starting to become the brickwork. And it was harrowing because you feel like you had almost lost yourself forever.
Yeah.
And the barrier continues to grin.
Liberation continues to
I
snore.
walk back over to the camp, turn towards the barrier, and hold up the hand with the stone on it. He knows what finger I'm holding up.
I feel like we're like in a Roadrunner cartoon now. Like this barrier just needed to be like meep meep. And then Mahogany gets an anvil dropped on his head.
Mahogany paints the image of a tunnel on the side
When the
of
rest of
wall.
you wake up in the morning, question mark, the barrier is still there grinning widely. Part of the stone wall has been disassembled. Mahogany looks incredibly frazzled, has a rock instead of a hand, and is down 2 spell charges.
Mahogany, what? Liberation starts to speak. It rolls his eyes, gets really frustrated for a second, takes out the slate and says, "Mahogany, what happened?"
Mahogany takes the slate and wipes over it with his hand and hands it back.
His rock hand.
Yeah, and then starts walking.
Liberation.
Karan
shrugs
very desperately points at the slate, like he wants to write something.
Liberation passes it.
Nobody-
Despite his better judgment, Liberation passes
Yeah,
it.
Riot is unable to say, nobody give it to him.
And then he
Liberation-
hoards the slate for the next several hours and refuses to show anybody what he's drawing.
Oh, God.
And when you guys set out the next day, the barrier continues to keep pace with you. And that's as far as I can take things here without the next combat.
Okay.
I mean, I could continue to mess with Mahogany for a few more nights. So let's go ahead and...
Whatever, bitch. I thought you were gonna make me lose my hand, and I'm like, shit, I don't regenerate. I don't give a shit.
I mean, we can still make that happen.
That's probably what's gonna happen when we get back
Yeah.
to Sigil.
I mean, mechanically, you just can't hold anything in that hand, and if your other hand is restrained in some way, you won't be able to cast somatic spells.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Mahogany uses his hand to masturbate anyway. I think he's more creative than that.
Oh, goodness.
I should probably put Karan on the poll, right?
No.
Fine, but then I get his EXP.
I think after the adventure is over, I'll show you guys Karan's stat block because it's pretty embarrassing.
I can't wait.
In second
I'm
edition,
picturing level 3.
he's just a level 6 fighter. That's it.
Nice.
That's all he's got. Which isn't bad, but every other factal's like level 20 dual classed. Except for Hashkar. Hashkar is a level 0 character, which means a commoner, basically. But it has a little note saying that he effectively has proficiency in every single skill and weapon. And then has a further footnote that says, this doesn't mean he knows how to use weapons, he just knows a lot about them. So he knows the mathematics of swinging the sword in a particular arc, but he cannot himself swing it.
He's that internet guy who thinks that he knows everything about swords because he goes to karate every once in a while.
Well, you studied ludistry. I took up the blade.
I mastered the blockchain.
Yeah.
I need to go ahead. Did I? Oh, I didn't post the straw poll. There we go.
Straw poll!
Sorry about that. Everybody go. There's only 3 people on it this week for now. And I need to do some adding on my kind, so I'm going to go radio silent for a minute or two. Just go ahead and talk about how you're going to give out your blips and things.
Yep.
You can give them to Nath if you want. He just won't get them until next week.
Okay.
Let's see. So,
Creative.
that jump spell is pretty smart. Getting everybody across that ravine.
Yeah, that's a word for it.
It worked.
It did
For a
work.
given value of worked.
I was gonna and that was Mahogany's jump spell, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna give creative to Mahogany, I really want to give it to him for like all the business with the stone stuff at the end, not for the jump spell.
But it had absolutely.
You don't think it was creative to jump using the spell
No,
named
not
jump?
especially. No. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the stone stuff better.
How often do you use the jump spell? Let's be honest.
I used
here.
it just last week to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago.
This is nothing new from Mahogany. Badass, I really liked Liberation putting himself between the demons and his two helpless party members.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Party goals?
We can give that to Nath. He was the one who was doing the major research on the Abyss.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair. And now we just need to decide why we're going to give the last one to Riot, because there's a couple options.
Well, it's intangible, so it can really be any reason.
Yeah.
I just wanted to decide which one it was. I think it's not even attempting to help Quran during the dinner.
I did attempt twice.
Yeah, just the Quran.
I cast 2 spells trying to help Quran.
In general.
After he ate the acid.
Yeah.
That was a delightful scene.
You're just like, well, listen, he's got to learn that ovens are hot for himself.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, boss.
So let that happen.
I'm the boss? Wow. Okay,
No, Tony Danza's the boss.
that's right. That's absolutely right. Oh, wait, I thought the point was that show was that the woman was the boss, the mother, and he was like her houseboy.
You're probably right, but I've never seen it, and I don't know anybody who was on it except for Tony Danza.
80s television is not my forte.
Speaking of which, they're bringing Roseanne back for another season.
Are they
What?
really?
Apparently, and all the old cast signed on for it for like a 10-episode thing.
Darlington Twitter is really funny.
I was gonna say, isn't Roseanne crazy now?
Well, she was
Roseanne was always
she was
crazy.
pretty crazy then too.
Roseanne was so crazy that one of the people who worked as like a showrunner for the show later went on to write a CSI episode where a showrunner for the show Roseanne murdered Roseanne.
Wow. That's impressive. That's pretty impressive.
Hey, I'll watch anything with John Goodman though. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we give 1 blip for the most creative solution for a session.
That's just your opinion, man.
We give
Creative.
that to Mahogany for all the stonework he did at the end there.
Yeah.
We give 1 blip for the assist who furthered the party's goals the most.
We're giving that to Nath because he's the one who's actually doing research.
And he actually, I want to say, he also agreed to take off that ring, which is a big sacrifice for him. And unfortunately, we won't know the outcome of that until next week.
It's true.
Don't forget about that whole Aunt Nancy thing, because that should have come up.
I already forgot about Aunt Nancy.
Okay.
It's already gone.
And who?
1 blip for the most badass action of the session.
They decided on me for pulling the Serenity and getting in between the demons and the helpless allies.
Okay. And 1 for intangibles.
Riot State.
Was there anything like a good date with Factal Quran?
That was a good date.
I feel like that can go 2 different ways.
I feel like I had a much better date the first time when we were at Darkwood's Longhouse. I think we had more fun then.
Do we have any...
What are you talking about? The date hasn't completed yet. You're like, this is still your date.
This is still the date.
This is still your date.
Let's go on a date to the airless plane to the Abyss.
Yeah.
Do we have any...
You just say that to all the girls.
Do we have any triple no's on the belief rundown?
Yeah, Riot is actually triple no this week.
Well,
Yeah, I think I could be a triple no this week.
All right, Liberation. What is your belief?
My belief is... I was thinking about blips rather than beliefs during the... Chains of oppression prevent the oppressed from reaching their potential, and care must be taken to have a plan for freeing them. I would say no. Yeah, you know what? I'm a triple no, too.
Okay. This might be the first time I've never awarded a belief point at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Going to the straw poll. I'm giving everybody, let's see, a blip is worth 1,000 still.
Mhm.
All three of you, one blip for carefully and successfully navigating the encounter with the Tanari Warband.
Mhm.
That's one of those things I have in my notes. Like, there's 3 or 4 ways this could probably go.
One of
And-
those is just like the first one's written down is Mahogany could use his jump spell like an asshole.
Well, I was wondering, like, I'm sitting there waiting. It's like, is anybody going to go look in this ravine before they just go? Oh no, I guess not. So they're just okay. Game on. So everybody, all 3 of you, one blip for that. Okay, riots. I gave you your faction blip for your work with the sensory stone, switching it out, making the hardheads look bad.
Nice.
And you took the intangibles blip this week as well.
Okay.
Liberation, you're making out like a bandit right now.
Am I really?
I'm giving you your alignment blip for your work, or aborted but well-intended work with the hardheads last week.
Mm-hmm.
I gave you your flaw blip. I never enter a room without backup for jumping the ravine, because you jumped the ravine alone and immediately got in trouble. I gave you your faction blip. Even though Factal Saren did not acknowledge or notice when you were in disguise and said, how about we ask the Godsman for help on this? Saren did not acknowledge that, but the DM, fortunately for you, did.
Nice. Well,
And then you also
at least
take the
nobody
badass
cares
blip.
about me.
Kelian got dick and balls. Mahogany, your flaw is I can't be trusted to act on my own, and I should do what people tell me. So I definitely gave you your flaw blip for the botched hardhead job. And I gave you your cipher blip this week for the Looney Tunes stone shape stuff. The question you have to ask yourself is what happens if I try to turn it into Earth Elemental now? You also...
Everything will be fine.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
You have the creative blip from this week, and you have the straw poll blip as well. So everybody got a few thousand experience.